We're going right to the street corners to get this data, right? And what are we finding? We're finding in our interviews, we're finding from our surveys that the very people that are dropping out, that are argued not to want and value in education, are the very people in overwhelming numbers, at least from our research, that want to be adequately educated. And I'm talking about guys in the street selling drugs. They actually want to go to school. They want to go to college. They want to go to a place where they feel that they're respected. They want to go to a place where they feel that they're nurtured, where they feel that they're loved, right? Many of the children are coming from homes that are, rife with all kinds of issues, so they may show up hungry. They may show up wearing the same thing a second or a third day in a row. I think many of the children are grappling, particularly the boys, are grappling with issues around school violence or other street activities that are taking place within a school environment. I think many of the children are actually not being prepared to graduate, not only high school, but also to enroll in college. And when you take home those kinds of experiences, it keeps me up at night, I'll be honest with you. Lots of night sweats, I have trouble going to sleep at night, sometimes carrying some of these stories. To interview a father and talk about, and hear him talk about, what it means to be a father and lose your son, and to have an older man break down in front of you, or to have a mother break down in front of you. We got all of this stuff, we've heard all of these stories. To be there with a young man, an adult, in his 20s, and for him to break down crying in front of you because he doesn't have a job, or he knows he can't support his children in the way that he wants to. But when I'm actually on the ground, walking through the communities, block to block, really speaking with some of those guys that's really out there doing X, Y, and Z, one of the things they really want me to understand and capture through this project is also the community, the love that's in or amongst street life-oriented communities, which is inside a larger inner city community. But oftentimes these guys are involved with caring for loved ones, siblings, in addition to elders, parents, grandmothers, uncles, aunts. Oftentimes, they play a real role with respect to organizing these communities, getting them out to events, promoting certain positive things throughout the scope of a Southbridge or an East Side. Oftentimes, not to say it's necessarily right or wrong, but we may see some of these young men paying rent for grandma, for auntie, for the young lady or the older lady who may have 2 or 3 kids under her direction. We oftentimes see them buying book bags for the children. And at the end of the day, very little change is created. Not until we're able to create a scenario where children can be fed properly, where children can be housed properly, where children can actually be educated properly, will we really have an opportunity to see the change that we all want to see. 2009, 3 years before we had 1 male from this community that graduated from high school. Jesus, that's crazy. How did we even let it get that bad? So I vowed, there's no magic wand to kind of reverse these conditions. But I vowed to be here, throughout the duration of my life, doing any and everything to make sure that these stories and these voices get out to the people that need to hear about them.